Hi, I'm Neenah. You're very welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, I hope you will consider clicking the subscribe button. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Today I made some circle scene cards. So that's what I call them. You can make them with any dies that you have in your stash. I happen to use some Cottage Cutz dies that I have in mine. These are the products I used. The embossing folder is just a cheap one I bought in the Netherlands last year, but I love the snowy backdrop it gives to my Christmas cards. I bought a Gemini Junior recently and it's really good at cutting and embossing. These Spellbinders dies I used to cut out the frame to build up my circle scene. I'm using Neenah white on the top layer and Neenah white on the bottom layer. These are the Cottage Cutz dies. Deer with birch trees I cut from silver glitter paper, and Nativity Border I cut from Centura Pearl Crafter's Companion cardstock. I cut it into two separate scenes. The distress inks I used are Tumbled glass and faded jeans, and I'm using just a cheap makeup brush to do the blending. I love the blending I get with these makeup brushes. I started off with the tumbled glass and then moved on to the faded jeans. And then I started getting some fingerprints on the piece and I protected my fingers with a bit of post-it tape. I wasn't happy that that was dark enough, so I brought in some chipped sapphire. And when I was satisfied that I had the blend of tones that I required, I started to build up my circle scene. I'm using Fast-Tack glue, high-tack Fast-Tack glue in a Gina K bottle. This comes in a 250 milliliter bottle and it costs the same as the half-ounce Gina K. Now Gina K glue is super glue, but it's quite expensive and difficult to get in Ireland. So I adhere the built-up circles to my base, and now that's ready for me to start building up the scene. I use my Fiskars scissors to cut apart the different elements for the scene. I play around with the different bits and decide what looks best. So in the end, I retain the two deer and two of the trees. I use the liquid glue again to adhere my elements in place. The liquid glue works well because it gives me time to move things around and to get them into correct position. Double-sided tape grabs onto things and you don't have room for maneuver. So I'm happy with that scene. This is a piece of acetate that I've cut out because I decided to make this into a shaker card. I'm adding some silver and some platinum stars. They're from a cheap set that I bought in my local hobby store. And then I use the liquid glue again. Oh, first I decided that I did want a star adhered to the background scene. So I took out my little drawer of stars and chose one made from glitter paper to adhere to the background. And oops, just in time, I remembered that I hadn't adhered the acetate. So I apply more glue because I want to be absolutely sure that this acetate adheres firmly and doesn't let any of the shaker bits fall out, and I make sure I've no glue on my fingers before I pick up the acetate. I treated it earlier with my anti-static bag, which is really important when you're working with acetate because it's inclined to dust and debris is inclined to cling to it. So it's all dry now, and I'm ready to adhere the top circle. And I love the embossing on this. It just happened with my Gemini Junior that when I cut the circle, it also embossed it. I'm happy with that. I think that looks really cute. And it's ready to adhere to my card base. And again, the liquid glue gives me room for manoeuvre. I'm able to straighten up the circle and place it where I want it. The sentiment I use is Silent Night. This is a Britannia die. I cut it out of silver glitter paper and adhered it with the liquid glue. And now there's nothing left but to fold my card. I crease it with my Teflon bone folder. And I'm happy that that's finished. On to card number 2. I use a piece of the Nativity Border die. I colour my base. This time I'm using the Tim Holtz applicator tool. But I must say I do have a preference for the blending brushes. I move on to chipped sapphire and black soot because I didn't feel it was dark enough. I really wanted to make the background look like a nighttime scene. I wanted the inside of the stable to look as if it was internally lit, so I adhered some double-sided tape to the back. And now I'm able to puzzle piece the light pieces into the centre of it. And now that's ready for when I make up the circle scene, which I did exactly the same as I did the last time. I used 4 layers to build up the walls of the scene. Now I'm using some transparent foam tape to pop up the scene in my circle. I decided to add some iridescent shimmer to the background. I think it's absolutely lovely. I hadn't used this before. I've just bought it. It's Avery Elle-Ments Shimmer Mist. I think it's gorgeous. So I press down the scene into the circle, pop in the silver star, and trim off the excess. And now the only thing I have to do is adhere the top circle, and then that's ready for another card. Pop on some acrylic blocks until it dries. The third card I made exactly the same way. I don't leave in too much of the colouring here because you've seen it all before. I did use the Avery Elle clear shimmer again, and I adhered a star to the background. I used some craft foam to pop it up this time. Adhered it to my circle along with a palm tree. And then nothing left to do but apply the top circle. And the circle element is ready for another card. The backgrounds I embossed with some more folders. This Snowflakes folder I had to pass through my die cutting machine twice, and so it left a kind of a border which I managed to camouflage with a piece of ribbon. Nice sparkly Happy Christmas ribbon, which I adhered with double-sided tape. And I think it did a very pretty job at covering up what was a blemish. There's always a quick fix in the craft room. I adhere the circle over the ribbon and a Silent Night cut out of mirror card on the bottom of that one. I adhere the other circle to the bottom portion of the other embossed card, and I adhered a sentiment, "Wise men seek him still," which I cut out with my border die. This border die creates a nice dotted edge. I backed that with some foam to pop it up on the card, some foam tape, and I stretched it across the top and used my scissors to cut off the excess. And those are the cards. Here's another quick look at them. The shaker card, one that I made without the shaker elements. And the two that I made using the Nativity Border set. I do hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll come back again to Una's Crafty Cards. I'd love if you would subscribe to my channel, and please do, if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It's really important that you do that on YouTube. Thanks a million. All the best for now. Bye.